Hey guys, Dr. Mike Dusa, MTFUcoach.com. I'm going to do it a little bit differently today. I'm going to perform some exercises for my arms, okay? Then I'm going to explain to you why I do what I do. And when you watch these exercises, maybe you can pick up a few things that you're not doing in order to get that peak, okay? Develop your arm to its fullest as far as peak and width, okay? Of course, we've got the dumbbell curls, okay? Standard dumbbell curl. And if you look at what I'm doing here, okay, when I bring the dumbbell up, I just don't bring my arm straight up. I turn my thumb down, my pinky up. That's called supination. Okay, and you can do that on all of the dumbbell exercises, particularly cables as well. Supination. Another thing that I do. Now you want to take the forearm muscles out of the movement. Too many times people are doing too much weight, so what do? They don't keep the fingers rolled down like we like to do. They flex them like this. So yeah, you're curling more weight, but the forearm flexors are doing a lot of the exercise, moving a lot of the weight, and you don't want that. So we always try to keep the fingers hanging down, and you can see right away that really pops the bicep out. So we're talking two things right here, right away off the bat. Okay, we're not thinking about how much weight can I do? Can I do 50s? Can I do 60s? Of course, I got my famous 20-pound dumbbells here. Okay, so I'm bringing this up, my fingers are down, and I'm turning this out. And we're looking to build that bicep peak. And I really focus on that. So again, we're talking fingers down, taking the forearm out, and turning the thumb down, pinky up. That's supination. Okay, you've got to understand that the bicep primarily allows the forearm to turn like this, to supinate and pronate, and it also flexes the elbow. That's really what we're looking to do right here. We could also look at a straight bar curl. Now, can you supinate here? No, you can't, because you're locked into a fixed bar, both arms, but we can still, instead of doing this, especially when you start going heavier, people will tend to bring their fists up and flex and really activate the forearms, so you're taking a lot of the stress off the bicep. You know, the whole goal is to get this resistance, and this is a light bar, deliver this resistance to the bicep. We don't want to rock the body, we don't want to throw it where we're using our deltoids. We most definitely don't want to flex the hands too much. So again, that same rule applies where the fingers are hanging, okay? And you see how that really activates. I think, Roman, you're catching this right. We got good lighting today, not bad? Okay, so we're focusing on those two little rules. If you concentrate on those two rules, you're going to work the bicep. You want to deliver the resistance. The resistance of the weight wants to be delivered only to this bicep muscle right here. Now, as far as strength goes, once you develop this adequately, you're going to be as strong as you're going to be. If you skip these rules and just try to do a lot of weight, you see a lot of guys walking around today, they go really heavy, but they got these big deltoids and small arms. Because a lot of the play, I mean, it's really almost like a deltoid exercise, which you don't want. Now, looking at the anatomy of the arm, you know, of course, any chance I get the flex, it's what I do. If you're looking at the arm right here, you can see I have a split in the bicep right here, okay? Now, this is the short head of the bicep, okay? And you can see where this is the bottom part. This is where it splits off from the long head. That'll give you width of the arm, okay? Now, all this above here, that's the long head. You can really see it from the side. Okay, that's what gives you the peak. Okay, we've talked about those already, but there's a muscle in between the tricep and the bicep called the brachialis, okay? And I mentioned this before. This kind of sounds like pseudoscience, or just a bunch of people talking about, you know, why the arms get so big. When you just grab a shot of water here, I get awfully parched. You do want to work the brachialis specifically, because when you do that, you're going to develop it, and it's going to literally push the bicep head up, and that's how you're going to get your peak. Now, there's no way to determine genetically whether you're going to have a good peak or not unless you follow all of these rules and give yourself the best chance possible to get that peak. And part of that is working the brachialis. What's the best way to do this? Well, the brachialis works best when the hand is in neutral position, okay? So we're not going to, there's going to be no supination, there could be some pronation, but in this case, if we look at a hammer curl and the hand is neutral, that's brachialis. I don't know if we can see it better like this, Rome, like so. And we're really focusing, so you notice the hand is neutral. Again, right there. And that's going to work brachialis. You could even go across the body like so. Brachialis, brachialis. This is not to be confused with a cross-body bicep curl. Now look what I did with my hand. No longer neutral, I'm turning it like so. What would that be? That's long head. Long head. Long head. A little bit on this side too. I want to work both sides. Long head, cross body. Long head. We don't want that. Okay? We're looking at brachialis. Just another variation on your side, or even to the front. Okay? Hand is neutral. That's brachialis. Okay? Another variation, if we're looking at working the peak, long head, okay? Take a bar. This is similar to a spider curl, only we're not using a bench, okay? Rome, you could zoom in on those biceps if you could. Same thing here. You notice there's no play in the shoulders. I pivot at the elbows. That's long head. That's long head. Do you get any shoulder pain like I do? Well, I've had accidents and injuries outside of the gym, so I've got issues with my shoulders. It's important to remember the anatomy of the shoulder and the bicep tendons. The short head tendon comes up and attaches to something called the coracoid process inside the shoulder. That's kind of medial to where all the action occurs. Excuse me, the long head comes up and it goes over the glenohumeral joint. And that's where all the action is. So ordinarily when you have problems with bicep tendon, it's usually the long head. So that's what you're working to really focus on the peak, but with all that work comes a high bracket or coefficient of possible injury. Let's see what else. I mean, he could edit this stuff so I can deviate and talk for a second. Oh, yeah. Another good way, you can stand over there for a second. Set this up over. You see, you edit this. This exercise right over like that. Another way that the long head works, like the long head of the bicep likes to work when the arm is extended in back of you. So what can you do? You could do seated dumbbell curls, leaning back. So now all of a sudden, look, your arm is in back of your shoulder. That activates the long head, and here we are, just like so. It's not one of my favorite exercises because I've got some issues in the shoulders, but if you could see that, and again, I'm following those rules I talked about, okay? Hand is hanging, and I'm supinating. You see how that activates the bicep. If you take anything away from this video today, guys, you want to talk about keeping your fingers down, to take the forearm out, okay, and to supinate at the top. And that's going to activate the long head. So we're focusing on the long head. So the thing I don't want you to do, I don't want you to just take a big, heavy, and this isn't that heavy, but what do people do? They think of biceps, they think of being a beast and doing all this heavy weight, and you just take this, and all of a sudden, look, I'm rocking my body, I'm just throwing it up and down. Let's pretend this is a 100-pound barbell. People say, well, I curl 100 pounds. I'm not getting any development. Well, that's because you're skipping all those rules we just talked about and you're only concerned with moving a lot of weight. It's not going to help you guys. It's not going to help you build your biceps. You want to develop the muscle first, and then the strength is going to come. Most definitely do not want to get injured. So if you want these peak sets done, follow these rules, focus and hit your biceps maybe about once a week. They're a smaller muscle, they can't take too much stress. And remember, when you're pushing and pulling, doing all these other body parts and exercises, well, you're overtaxing your biceps, so you just may be overworking. Practice parsimony, truly measure your results in alignment with your goals, and then only then will your path be directed by you. Dr. Mike Dusa, MTFU Longevity. Talk to you next time. Thank you.